Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good morning, natural and shit like that. In this video, we're going to talk about the new build that Rat's been playing. We're going to go over that quickly. How to play Blade the Ring King Terminus. Just a quick idea how it works. Because there were some things being said in the video that were a bit like misunderstood. Like, why are you not killing them with few items, blah, blah, blah. Why are you not one-shotting them? Build sucks. So we're going to address that. We're also going to address a bit of the Twitch sucks thing that he mentioned, how it feels like it's slowly dying. And we're just going to generally go over the builds and runes and just a quick recap of everything. Before we begin, I hope you guys are having a good morning and I show that. Truly. And for those in the know, I've been gone for a week now. And from that experience of being gone, I just want to say that to the people commenting, coming by my stream, talking in general, you are really appreciated. If anything, being gone highlights that. So I really appreciate you guys. Feel free to join my Discord, my stream, Instagram I have there if you want to watch that. It's sort of just then you all know. And yeah, really appreciated. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, shit like that. So yeah, let's begin. First, just gonna quickly go over the thing that was mentioned in my one video is one items, right? So I mentioned Blade being better than Infinity Edge. I stand by that still. You can see that Blade has way higher win rate or like play rate than Infinity Edge, only having like a 300 and Blade having 9,000. And it's just only performing slightly worse. So again, I said before that like Infinity Edge first has its place sometimes, and the fact that it has such a small sample size with one item kind of goes to show that too, that there are times where it can succeed. So the fact that fewer people are building it first just goes to show that people are building it like at the right times. And I think that applies to Terminus as well. Like it has its place against certain champions and matchups more than it has others. But we'll of course go over that in this video quickly. And as for runes, I think PTA is really good. I do like First Strike, but I don't think First Strike is something you should play with Terminus. I would go Blade the Rune, PTA then. As a secondary, I do think that Overgrowth, Conditioning, or Revitalize is underrated. So definitely feel free to try that out. If not, secondaries, Cashback, and Cosmic Insight, or Eyeball Collection and Ultima Hunter is one of the things I would go. Certain Impact can of course be played, but I would probably take Taste Blood most of the time if I was to go this tree, because I would pick it then against certain champions that I would like some sustain against. So yeah, that's just the trees covered quickly. Conqueror I think could be viable, but it just needs like a slight change to work. I really do hope that I will someday wake up and then maybe enable that after Lethal Temper being gone. I would like to see more things being viable. I know that Hellblades is viable too, but again, I think Conqueror would really like fit well with the Terminus build, and I would have loved to see that be viable. Alright, so we've addressed the first items, runes. Other than that, just to cover everything, like Terminus build is great, right? But in an ultra late game, your standard builds will be better. Like it will deal more damage, it'll probably be more fitting. And yeah, that's it, how it's always been. Like even with 98 tech, if you played against like a full crate champion, they would win. Like the full crate ADC would win against you 1v1, right? So like it has a different playstyle. Of course, before with a different Titanic Hydra, you would still be able to one-shot them because you would abuse the cleave that came from your Hurricane and your ult, right? But that doesn't exist as much as it did before. Again, I do wish that did exist, but it doesn't. So it is just what it is. Another thing that kind of sucks with Blade or like Lethal Temp being gone is that the Terminus build would be a lot more interesting if things like Wit's End was allowed to be built, but the problem is of course that you might overcap on attack speed. Which leads me to like think sometimes like, I might just go like Tab Ice or Merc something then. And then you can see here, like I assume some people are doing that. Then you can go like Wit's End or like throw in another attack speed item and you probably won't overcap. But as for the end builds, I'm not exactly sure if we can. Look, we can try. So I'm gonna get rid of this because that will get us to see Terminus, and then get rid of the AP, Film Tower, these. Right. So then maybe at some point here we'll start to see the Terminus builds, right? So you can see it hasn't been played that much. And that is fair. But it's obviously an end game build, so getting to that point is going to be difficult. But even then, it's performing decently. Like, I've played the build a few times now. I just recently got back, so I'm really washed. But I'm still enjoying the build. I think it's fun. Of course, I do think that in terms of like raw damage, Blade the Ring King, Hurricane, LDR, IE will be better. And couple of things to note now that will kind of like help you understand these builds is if you're playing against champions like, say, Kai'Sa or Vayne, or like Kha'Zix, those champions like that, the Terminus build might feel bad. Because there are times you will not be able to hit them, and then being able to like make your hits matter by doing more damage is going to help, right? So like against like Vayne, like also against like Rengar, it was like the mental of like, they kill you or you kill them. So you just go full crit and hope that they open, you just auto-attack them 3-4 times and they're dead. But in like longer team fights, if you're able to like utilize everything, then the damage will roughly be about the same. If you get like 10 auto-attacks over something, then it's completely fine. We have to understand there are certain weaknesses to Terminus, and strengths to these builds too. So I will continue to try Terminus as well to find more room. But just to give you an idea again, like short fights, like if you are playing against like bursty ones, then this is fine. Another thing to note is like this build with crit is more sustain. Because how this works is if you have a lot of HP, you're going to be more susceptible, like you're going to be allowed or able to like soak more damage. Like if you're playing against a little blank and they burst you, your sustain won't matter. Like the only thing that will matter then is to like survive the combo and then be able to attack after, right? So against burst champions, like shields, like BT shield or more will help you because you just need to survive that initial burst and then you will win after, right? And that's where HP matters a lot. But other times, you might have a fight. Like if you have full build BT and say you have full crit BT, no Blade the Rune King in that sense, and you auto attack, and you manage to like auto attack for the entire thing, nothing will sustain you more than that. Like you're going to heal for incredible amounts, right? But of course, the problem is just being bursted, and that's where HP and shields and things are really good. So that's just like my quick recap here. I think that all the builds are viable. Terminus is obviously fine. You will not do as much damage, but here comes the thing, because Terminus is more like an all-in item, right? And crit is more like burst oriented. And the things you have to understand here with Terminus then is you have to do a lot of attacks. So like they were saying here at some point in this video, oh, you did 3 attacks, you didn't kill them. And it's like, okay. But that's not the point of the build. The point is like you're meant to just go in and you will win the extended trade. It's like if they keep attacking you and you keep attacking them, you will win, right? So the thing that matters then is to be able to be on people. So I do think even though you can't really see it, I've been trying to figure out how. I'm sure there is a way. But if you are going to play the Terminus build, I actually do think that Ghost is really good. Like I think Barrier and Heal and like, or especially Barrier is more suited for like full crit. Because all that matters is you open, you just get your few auto attacks off and you're probably fine, right? But with Terminus, I think with having to like do more auto attacks, you'll be able to utilize that build a lot more if you're able to stick on them. And that is where Ghost is very helpful. So if you are going to play the Terminus build, do consider taking Ghost, because I think it will help you greatly later stages in the game. And even early game, Ghost isn't that bad, right? You can use to get back to lane, even though it lasts like 50% less now than it used to do. Going from 15 to 10 seconds. But I still think it's great. So if you're playing Terminus, take Ghost and try that. Like, I know that the win rates here are not like accurate enough, right? But just the build hasn't had time to grow. Because I was thinking about this build when I was gone too. I forgot to mention this at the start of the video, so now only the OGs that are listening at this point here. I just want to say that I really appreciate you. Because I was thinking about this build too, right? Like right before that, like 4 days straight in, like ago, 5 now maybe. I was thinking about this when I was watching a YouTube video of Varus top, and I wanted to go like Blade LDR, but then the problem was attack speed lacking, and I figured maybe try Terminus. And I looked up the win rates, And yeah, people are doing the build, but they're maybe not doing it correctly. Just like when I first suggested First Strike, it had an incredibly low win rate. But then after trying it and people playing it, ended up being one of the highest ones. So even though Terminus might not seem the strongest there, it's just because it hasn't had like its full time to grow yet. People need to understand how to play it, what to do with it, and then it'll improve slightly. Like, I'm not saying again that it's the best build, but I'm saying that it should probably be performing better than this year. And one reason I do think to that is probably maybe something to do with Ghost. So yeah, even though things might seem strong and it's not performing well, it might just be because people are not playing correctly and they just have a wrong understanding of how to play it. So that is why always with new builds, you should not be judging the win rates exactly, because the build and the items like need time to grow. And yeah, that's about it. Like, I do think all builds are viable. I do think that Twitch sucks right now a bit. I think a lot of champions are very easy to play against him. Leona, Nautilus, and these like Vanguard engaged champions are really broken. And like Kai'Sa is incredibly boring to play against. Ezreal is really broken right now. So yeah, like, I think it's more like a meta thing, of course. But that usually tends to get better. So there will be a patch where like Twitch will be on top again. But I do kind of like Twitch being like this like underground champion, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily like him being like SSS tier, but as times change, people won't care to play the best. So that is kind of what happens. But again, I think Twitch feels a bit bad right now. I hope that will change. I don't necessarily hope that he'll be better. I just hope he'll feel better, if that makes sense, right? And it's just frustrating right now with the bot lane meta and how jungle works and everything. And that adds up to making it a very bad experience. But hopefully, now that things are being addressed with red side and everything like that, that Riot will look to make some changes. As happens every time with splits happening, is that things tend to get better and then it just gets incredibly bad again. But yeah, I do think it's getting better. And yeah, just stay strong. Yeah, hope you guys continue to have good money, not fish like that, and take care. Peace. And leave any questions below if you have any. And yeah, thanks.